Wrestling fans, get ready for a deep dive, but not into the ring this time.
No steel cages or championship belts today.
Instead, we're climbing into the commentary booth.
That's right, going behind the scenes to explore the world of wrestling commentary.
And specifically, the legendary Jim Ross.
Oh yeah, good old JR,
Yeah.
the voice of wrestling for a generation.
Exactly. And this deep dive is going to get into some of the behind-the-scenes drama.
The stuff you don't see on TV.
We're talking about his relationship with WWE's mastermind, Vince McMahon.
A relationship that had its ups and downs, to say the least.
So for anyone who hasn't spent hours listening to JR lose his mind over a pile driver.
That iconic, God, is like a wrestling soundtrack.
He is basically the voice of wrestling for a generation. But this deep dive is about the man behind the voice.
His experiences, his struggles, and his insights into the world of WWE.
And we're going straight to the source.
Jim Ross himself.
He's been pretty open about his time in WWE.
He shared some pretty juicy details in his podcast and his books.
We're talking about allegations of Vince McMahon using another announcer to undermine JR.
Yeah, this is more than just creative differences.
This sounds like some serious backstage drama.
Well, according to Jim Ross, Vince McMahon would actually feed lines to Jonathan Coachman during live broadcasts of Monday Night Raw.
Whoa, hold on. So Vince was trying to sabotage JR live on air?
It certainly seems that way.
Yeah.
And Ross has said he didn't blame Coachman for it.
So Coachman was just following orders?
It seems like Coachman was known for a more sports entertainment style of commentary.
Yeah, he was more about the entertainment aspect than the pure wrestling.
Exactly. And that might be why Vince favored him over Ross.
But to undermine JR like that seems pretty harsh.
You have to remember, Vince McMahon is notorious for his control over WWE.
He's got his hands in every aspect of the show.
And that control extended to the commentary booth, apparently.
So what was Vince's motivation here? Why sabotage JR?
It's hard to say for sure. We only have Ross's side of the story.
Right. But it's definitely a fascinating glimpse into the power dynamics of WWE.
It shows you the kind of pressure these guys were under.
And it makes you wonder how much of what we see on TV is real and how much is manufactured drama.
That's the beauty of wrestling, isn't it? That blurring of lines between reality and performance.
And JR himself didn't mince words when describing McMahon's behavior?
No, he didn't. He actually said, and I quote, "He, for whatever perverse reason, had him busting my balls."
Wow, strong words.
Yeah, that quote really highlights the power dynamic at play.
It suggests that McMahon maybe felt threatened by JR's popularity.
Or maybe he just enjoyed stirring the pot. Who knows?
But to be undermined like that live on air in front of millions of viewers, that's got to be tough.
It's a high-pressure environment, no doubt about it.
And Ross talked about needing to survive that environment.
He said you can either deal with it and survive, or you can revolt and not survive. I chose surviving and earning those paychecks.
Talk about a rock and a hard place.
It sounds like he was stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, but it's a testament to his professionalism that he was able to keep going.
And to his passion for wrestling.
Absolutely. So we've got this picture of a high-pressure, intensely controlled environment.
Or even the announcers are part of a larger narrative.
But before we get too deep into those power dynamics,
Let's take a closer look at the commentary itself.
how did Ross's style differ from Coachman's?
And why might McMahon have favored one over the other?
That's what we'll unpack next time.
Stay tuned. When you listen to Jim Ross, it was like you could hear the passion in his voice.
Oh, yeah, totally. He lived and breathed wrestling.
And you could feel his deep knowledge of the wrestlers.
It was like he was telling you a story.
Exactly. He brought a real sense of history to every match.
And that iconic voice, nobody else sounded like him.
It's true. He had this way of making you believe in the moment,
Like you were right there ringside.
even if you knew it was all predetermined.
But Coachman, he represented a different approach, right?
Yeah, Coachman was more in tune with that sports entertainment vibe.
Less about the realism, more about the showmanship.
Right. He was more polished, almost ironic.
Not afraid to wink at the audience.
Exactly. He knew it was all a performance.
So maybe Vince saw that as a better fit for where he wanted to take the WWE.
It's possible Vince was always ahead of the curve.
He knew what the fans wanted.
And maybe he sensed that fans were getting tired of the old school approach.
So Coachman was the future and JR was the past.
In a way, yeah. It's like a changing of the guard.
But wouldn't that kind of undermine the illusion of wrestling?
You mean by acknowledging the performance aspect?
Yeah, if the announcers are in on the joke, doesn't that ruin the fun?
That's a good question. But I think it can actually enhance the entertainment.
Really? How so?
It's like when you watch a magic show,
You know the tricks are fake.
but you still enjoy the performance.
I guess that's true. You admire the skill and the artistry.
Right. And in a way, Coachman's commentary was like that.
He was acknowledging the artistry of wrestling.
Exactly. He wasn't afraid to have fun with it.
But I can see how that would rub someone like JR the wrong way.
Oh, absolutely. He was all about the heart and the passion.
He believed in the stories he was telling.
And to have someone like Coachman come in and poke fun at it all.
Yeah, that's gotta sting.
It's like a clash of philosophies.
Two different ways of looking at the world of wrestling.
And in the end, Vince chose one over the other.
But you have to wonder what that did to JR's morale.
To be undermined like that by your own boss.
It was a tough situation.
And it speaks to the pressure these guys were under.
They weren't just calling the action, they were part of the show.
Right. They were characters in the ongoing drama of WWE.
And that drama wasn't always confined to the ring.
It often spilled over into the real world.
And that's what makes this story so fascinating.
It's a glimpse behind the curtain of professional wrestling.
A look at the real people behind the larger-than-life personas.
And a reminder that even in a world of scripted storylines,
there's always a human element at play. You know, it's easy to forget sometimes
what's that?
that these wrestlers are real people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Behind all the glitz and the glam,
They're putting their bodies on the line.
it's a demanding job, both physically and mentally,
And then you add in the pressure of performing live
in front of millions of people,
and the constant scrutiny.
not to mention the behind-the-scenes drama.
Gotta take its toll.
It's no wonder these guys have such a high burnout rate.
And for someone like JR, who was so passionate about the business,
To have his vision challenged like that,
it's gotta...
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
question of artistic integrity.
How much freedom do these performers really have?
When you're working in an environment like WWE,
Where Vince McMahon has the final say.
it's a balancing act for sure,
You have to find a way to stay true to yourself.
while also playing the game.
And JR managed to do that,
He found a way to survive and thrive.
despite all the challenges.
And that's what makes him such a respected figure in wrestling,
He's a survivor.
a true legend.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of wrestling commentary,
What have we learned?
I think we've gained a new appreciation for the art of it all.
The skill, the passion, the storytelling.
And the human drama behind the scenes.
It's a reminder that wrestling is more than just entertainment,
It's a reflection of life itself.
with all its triumphs and struggles.
So next time you watch a match,
Take a moment to appreciate the people behind the performance.
the wrestlers, the announcers, the crew.
They're all part of something special.
And that's what makes wrestling such a captivating and enduring form of entertainment.
And that's a wrap.